Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We're starting a new chapter today, inshallah. Babu Sujudi Sahwi. What do you understand from this, Luqman? What do you understand? Tell me, what do you understand of Sujudu Sahwi? If you made a mistake in Salat, then you are compensated for the Sahwa. What type of mistake you say? Wajibat. So briefly, if Bismillah Rahman Rahim, if you leave a farz out intentionally or unintentionally, you have to repeat it, right? It's as though you never do the Salah. If you left out a wajib intentionally, we'll say it's done, but in a very deficient way. So it is necessary to repeat it in the time. But if you left out a wajib unintentionally, mistakenly, forgetfully, then you can compensate for that wajib you left out. So one is leaving a wajib out totally, and one is also delaying a wajib or bringing a wajib forward. Then also sajda sahwi becomes wajib. Why? Because to do the namaz is proper tartib. It's wajib. So for a simple example, instead of making 2 sajdas, you make 3 sajdas. Instead of making 2 sajdas, you make 2. So you say, but that's, a person made an extra sajda. You never leave out a wajib. But after 2 sajdas, it was wajib for him to proceed to the 3rd rakat or the 2nd rakat, whatever. So he delayed. Can you people read there? Come sit down and read, please. So you delayed your 3rd rakat. So it was wajib to do it on proper time. So you delayed, and as a result of that delay, now what will you do? You'll have to make a sajda. Are you with me? Okay, read the first ibarat, Yusuf. Bismillah, tafaddal.
يسجد للسهو في الزيادة والنقصان سجدتين بعد الصلاة بعد السلام.
Right. See, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. يسجد للسهو في الزيادة والنقصان سجدتين. You will make sajda, or he will make sajda للسهو because of a mistake. في الزيادة, when he added in his salat, والنقصان, or he left out something. What will he add? Yeah, what will he make sajda? He make sajdatayni ba'da salami. 2 sajdas after salam. So yeah, I told you ziyadat. I told you a person made the double ruku, or a person made what? 2, 3 sajdas, whatever, right? Or the nuqsani, he left out something, but not a faraz, right? Because I told you when you leave out a faraz, then you have to repeat the salah, right? So you make 2 sajdas ba'da salami, after salam, assalamu alaikum, then you make ثم يتشهد, then you recite the tashahud again, ثم يتشهد, ثم يسلم, and then he will make salam again and finish the salah as normal, right? Right. وإن الشافعي, other Imam Shafi say, right, يسجد وإن الشافعي قبل السلام. you will make the sajda before salam. So you finish, recite your tashahud, you recite your durood, you recite your dua. Now you say, Allahu Akbar. You go down straight into sajda, you make your two sajdas, and you come up, and now you make your salah, and you finish as normal. So according to Imam Shafi, rahimahullah ta'ala, before you make the salams, you will make the sajda, right?
ما روي أنه عليه الصلاة والسلام سجد للسهو قبل السلام.
Yeah. So because lima ruya, because of what is narrated here, lima ruya, anna, it is a narration, anna wa alayhi salam, that Nabi sallallahu alayhi salam sajada lisahwi qabla salam. There is a narration which says that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he made sajda before the salam. So Imam Shafi, he practiced upon this hadith, right?
وأما قوله عليه الصلاة والسلام لكل سهو سجدتان بعد السلام.
Then we have another riwayat which says, well, we have a riwayat, walana qawlu alayhi salam, the statement of Nabi sallallahu likulli sahwin sajdatani ba'da salami, that for every sajda sahu, or rather for every sahu, for every mistake, sajdatani ba'da salami, there's two sajdas after salam, right?
روي أنه عليه الصلاة والسلام سجد سجدتي السهو بعد السلام.
Yeah. So what is saying here, right, then isn't, so they're saying you got two qawli hadith, where one sahabi said that Nabi sallallahu made sajda before salam. One riwayah say made sajda after salam. So the two negate each other. There's a principle also in usul al-hadith, especially in the Hanafi, it's called إذا تعارضا تساقطا. What? إذا تعارضا تساقطا. When two things oppose each other, they drop off and they both become redundant. So you got a one riwayat which is saying, that says sajada lisahwi qabla salami. The one riwayat says he made sajda before salam, right? Walana qawlu alayhi salam, our sentence is likulli sahwin sajdatani ba'da salami. For every sahw there's two sajdas after salam. So they contradict each other, so they drop off. إذا تعارضا تساقطا. وروي عنه عليه السلام, and he's also narrated from the Muslim. So sajada sajda istahwi ba'da salami, says yeah, then after that. So فإذا تعارضت رواية فعله فبقي تمسك بقوله سالما. So the two statements we said, the one said أنا sajada istahwi qabla salami. I got it mixed up a little bit earlier. It's the two qawli hadiths are contradictory. One hadith says what? He made sajda sahwi before salam. And the other one says لكل سهوة سجدتان بعد السلام ورون السلام سجد سجد سهوي. So you got the two fairly hadiths. There's the other one. There's the first sajda sahwi qabla salami. There's the one called fairly one, and the other was ورون السلام سجد سجد سهوي بعد السلام. Right? So those two fairly ones, they contradict each other. So they negate each other and they displace each other. Then there's only one left. Which is the one that's left? لكل سهو سجدتان بعد السلام. So the two negate each other, and we left with the third one, which says the statement of Nabi Sallallahu. So the two fairly hadith contradict each other. They render each other redundant, and we left with one hadith which says what? That there is sajda sahu after salam, and hence we practice upon that. Right, carry on. Yeah. So that was the textual evidence. Now we look at the logical. Look at me one minute. This is the logic guidance. The logic is this here. They say, look here, you only make one sajda sahw in salah. You don't make several sajda sahws. Like you just, one sajda means like the two sajdas, right? So if you make it before the salam, what if you make a mistake in the salam? So that means you're going to go and make again another sajda sahw. You understand what I'm saying? So rather make it when you finish with the salah completely. Or rather make it once you are finished with the salah completely. You finish with the salah completely. You've done the salam. Now you make the sajda sahu. Now you make the sajda sahu. So there's no room for any error again after that. You understood that? That's what he's saying. وَلِأَنَّ سُجُودَ السَّهْوِ, because the sujood sahwi It's مما لا يتكرر. It's not something that is repeated in salah, right? فيؤخر عن السلام. So it will be delayed till after the salam. فيؤخر عن السلام حتى لو سهى عن السلام. To such an extent, if you to make a mistake in the salam, ينجبر, then that sajasahu will compensate for all the mistakes, mistakes you made before that, and the mistakes you made in the salam also, right? ينجبر به. Yeah. وهذا الخلاف في الأولوية. This اختلاف of whether you make sajda sahu before salam or whether you make the sajda sahu after salam, etc. It's just an اختلاف with regards to preference. It's not to say that according to Hanafi madhab, it's not permissible to make it before the salam, right? And also the Shafis, it's not to say they say it's not permissible to make it after salam. It's just a اختلاف in which is better. How is it better to do it, right? Not يعني هذا ليس بخلاف الجواز لكن هو خلاف الأولوية, right? Carry on. Right. So normally when we make one salat, isn't it? But here, according to this text here, ويأتي بتسليمتين, you must make السلام عليكم ورحمة الله, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. So the fatwa is not upon this, right? Here they're saying ويأتي بتسليمتين, he will come with two salams. والصحيح, and this here, according to Sahih Bidai, is the correct one. صرفا للسلام المذكور إلى ما والمعهود, moving away from what the mentioned salam to what is known. In other words, what is known is that you must make two salam in the salah, right? Get it from there, Luqman. Right. Turning away from the normal salam. Right. ويأتي بصلاة ويأتي, you don't go break time. You went break time. You went break time. Huh? ويأتي بالصلاة على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم والدعاء في قعدة السهو والصحيح. So you will bring the salat, the durud, اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. And the dua. So you will ويأتي بالصلاة على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم والدعاء في قعدة السهو, in the setting of the sahu, that is sahih. So what does it mean, Luqman? The last, after you made salam, and you made the sajda sahu, and after sajda sahu, you will sit there, you will read the complete tashahud and your dua and your durud, etc. Right? Carry on. لأن الدعاء موضع آخر الصلاة. Right, because لأن موضع الدعاء because the dua is supposed to be the last part of the salah, and here you are making sajda sahu, it's part of your salah, so it must be done after the sajda sahu in the salam before that, right? You understood that? So in other words, what I'm saying is you won't just make the shahud and then make your final salam. You will finish your tashahud and the durud and the salam, and then now you'll sign off with your final salam. Yes, what you do is in the tashahud before that, you just recite the tashahud, but you don't recite the durud, and then you go make your salam, and then you go down in sajda, and you make your two sajdas, and you come back up and you recite again the tashahud and the durud and the dua. Right? Are you with me so far? Right. Okay, stop there. So this much we know, when you left out a wajib unintentionally, etc., right? Then you will add in the salat, you will add the sajda sahu when you left the wajib, etc. But here they say, like I explained to you, even if you add something which is part of the salah, but it's not supposed to be there, you add something into the salah, but it's normally found in salah, but it's not in its right place here. For example, I told you, you made two rukus, you made two sajdas. Another example, you made tashahud after the first rakat, or you made tashahud after the third rakat. So why does this necessitate sajda sahu? You are adding something, but you're doing something extra. Why are you being punished with the sajda sahu? You are being punished because it was necessary for you to go to it was wajib. Tartib in salah is wajib. Tartib in salah is wajib. So it was necessary for you to go into the next rukn. It was necessary for you to go into the next rukn, and you delayed going to the next rukn. So you have to compensate for the delay, which is called ta'khir. You have to compensate for the ta'khir by making sajda sahu. So see there, قال ويلزمه السهو, and sahu will become wajib upon him إذا زاد في صلاته, when he adds in his salah فعلا من جنسه, a fail that is from the jins, but ليس منها, but is not in his proper place, right? Carry on. So this is the overline ibarat there, né? And the next ibarat is not overline. It's the next ibarat not overline. Okay. So وهذا يدل على أن سجد السهو. So what he's saying, this words here, ويلزمه, Sahib Hidaayah is making the shri of that ibarat. He's explaining the ibarat. Whose ibarat is it? The Quduris or Jami Saghir? Yeah, he's explaining Imam Quduri's ibarat. So he's saying that this statement of Imam Quduri by saying lazima yalzamu, this هذا يدل, it indicates على أن سجدة السهو, said the sajda sahu wajibatun is wajib, huwa sahih, and this is the correct opinion, right? Yeah, so see, why is it wajib? Because لأن تجب, it is wajib because wajab لجبر نقصان, to compensate, لجبر to jabr, to compensate, لجبر نقصان for a deficiency تمكن في الإبادة, that has come about in the ibadah. Just one second, I want to check this. لأنها تجب لجبر نقصان تتمكن. I'm just a few fun. Okay, you can say take place because it's to compensate for a shortcoming that took place in the salah. Carry on, read. Right, so they're saying, right, فتكون واجب, so فتكون واجبة كالدماء في الحج. Like you see in the Hajj, if you made a mistake that never nullify your Hajj completely, you made a mistake, like you reverse the order of something, or you left a wajib out unintentionally, then you have to compensate for that with what? By making a dam, by slaughtering an animal. So same thing here, in salat, if you left out a wajib unintentionally, or if you delayed a wajib, or if you brought a wajib forward, etc., you will compensate for it with what? You will compensate for it with a sajda sahu. Carry on. Yeah, so they're saying وَإِذَا كَانَ وَاجِبٌ لَا يَجِبُ إِلَّا بِتَرْكِ وَاجِبٍ. So if sajda sahu is wajib, then it will not become wajib except when you left out when you left out a wajib thing. Remember, we're saying sajda sahu is wajib. So how can sajda sahu become wajib if you leave out something which is of a letter, like a masnoon thing or something? So since sajda sahu is wajib, it will only become wajib by leaving out a wajib, or by delaying a wajib, or bringing a wajib forward, etc., etc. You understood that? وَإِذَا كَانَ وَاجِبًا, when sajda is wajib, لَا يَجِب, it will not become compulsory upon an individual. إِلَّا بِتَرْكِ وَاجِبٍ. Like, for example, if you owe 10 rand, how can you make somebody pay 30 rand? You can only make him pay 10 rand. Right? So, if sajda is wajib, it will not become compulsory upon you, except when you left out a wajib, right? أو تأخيره, or if you left out, تأخيره first, you delayed a wajib. What is it? أو تأخيره, you delayed a wajib. أو تأخير واجب. Or تأخير ركن, or you left out a rukn. Rukn is what is the farz, ne? Or you delayed a farz because why? I told you what I told you. The tartib is farz, as tartib is wajib. So, for example, you made the sajda before the ruku. You made the sajda before the ruku. So you reverse the order. So what you done? So since you reverse the order, and the order is wajib, so you left out a wajib. So you will compensate for this wajib by what? By also making sajda sahu, right? هذا هو الأصل. This is the main overarching principle in all this Messiah, right? Yeah, أو تأخيره. Yeah. So they're saying now it's like I just this one we explained already. It did come earlier, Zimnan. Why would we say that sajda sahu becomes wajib if you add something in? Well, like I told you, you added an extra sajda. You made 3 sajdas. Yeah, I don't also have that in my kitab, but I think that is the most correct kitab, right? Or you added the extra tashahud, or you added the extra ruku, etc. Why does sajda become wajib? You say, but this is also an act of salah. You actually doing extra, you must get rewarded, you mustn't get punished. So, وَإِنَّمَا وَجَبَتْ بِزِيَادَةِ, the only reason it becomes wajib was ziyada, لأنها, because this way you add some extra, لا تأرى عن تأخير ركن. It is not free. It's not free from أن تأخير لا تأرى عن تأخير ركن. It is not free from delaying what? Another rukn. Because when you add something extra in salah, inevitably you will be what? You will be delaying one rukn and تأخير rukn. Or أو ترك واجب, you will be leaving a wajib. Why you will be delayed? Either you're going to leave that wajib out, or you reversing the order, or you're not doing something in tartib, etc. So you are when you add something on, you are inevitably leaving out a wajib. Carry on.
قال ويلزمه إذا ترك فعلا مسنونا أنه أراد به فعلا واجبا.
Right. So here, when they say masnoon, they don't mean the technical meaning of masnoon. Like how we know something is sunnat, because we know that if you leave out a sunnat of salah, it can't make such as a wajib. So this is the ibarat of who Kuduri, so Shai Musaghi's ibarat. What is it from there? Kuduri. وَيَلْزَمُهُ إِذَا تَرَكَ فِعْلًا مَسْنُونًا. And will also become necessary upon him, يعني what will become necessary upon him? سجسه إذا ترك فعلا مسنونا, when he left out a masnoon action. So now the next is عبادة saying كأنه أراد به فعلا واجبا. Although he said the word masnoon, but we're not speaking about the technical meaning of masnoon. So what he meant is wajib. Or we can say that maybe when he said masnoon, he meant this is something which is proven from the sunnah. Is wujub is proven from the sunnah. His wujub is not proven from the Quran. So that's why I understand from this that sometimes the fuqaha, they refer to something as masnoon, not in the technical meaning of being sunnat, that you can leave it out if you want to, but they refer to it as sunnat in the sense that it has been proven, not from the Quran, but it has been proven from the hadith, but it is wajib. You understood that? So إلا أنه أراد بتسمية سنة, except that he intended by بتسمية by naming it sunnat, أن وجوبها بالسنة, it is wujub, it is compulsion, it comes from the sunnah. You understood that? Alright, carry on. Okay, so here you've got the laws already. I mean, you've got the overarching principles. We've got the overarching principles. These are an application of the overarching principles. You know, to owe تَرَكَ قِرَاءَةَ الْفَاتِحَةِ, he forgot to recite Surah Fatiha in the first two rakats, it's wajib. Obviously not intentionally, because we told you if you leave it out intentionally, that does not compensate. أو تَرَكَ قِرَاءَةَ الْفَاتِحَةِ, you left out the recitation of Surah Fatiha, لأنها واجبة, because it is wajib, and you left it out unintentionally. أو القنوت, in witr namaz, you left out the qunut, the imam, or maybe you're the individual, you're reading your own witr. Ibrahim, you went right time to toilet. You must try to go right time, inshallah. Ne? You have to go class time, right? So you are reading your own witr namaz alone, and you forgot it kunut, and here you in tashahud, you remember witr namaz, I never read my kunut. So what you do, you just make salam, one salam, two tashahuds, and then again, one salam, two sajdas, and after the sajda, the tashahud, the durud, and the dua again. You understood that? Right? Wait 1 second. So that's an example of kunut. So the kunut of witr, right? Awit tashahuda, you forgot the tashahud after two rakats, whether you're reading a 3 rakat salah or 4 rakat salah. Remember, after the first 2 rakats, you're supposed to make tashahud. So I explained this extra masa. If you are in, look at this here. Yeah, you are in tashahud. If you stood up, the ulama explained, if you are closest to sajda, to tashahud, come back to tashahud, right? And then you continue and you make your tashahud. But if you are closer to qiyam, then rather stand up. If you are closer to qiyam, then rather stand up, because you've already gone into the farz. So why break the farz for a wajib? So you were closer to standing up, or you forgot the tashahud completely. You were closer to standing up, or you forgot that tashahud completely. So you stand up straight and you continue, and then you just make the tashahud when you finish, right? Right, so that's nice. The other one is takbirati al-eidaini. The third one example is, in the Hanafi madhab, you see the Imam always tells you before Eid namaz, you say, Ya Allah, I'm reading 2 rakats, Eid namaz with 6 extra wajib takbirs. So that takbirs there in the Eid namaz is wajib. The takbirat in the Eid namaz is wajib to make the takbirat, right? So you left it out, you forgot it. You forgot it completely. You used to reading normal namaz. So then you afterwards you remembered, hey, I never make the takbirat of Eid. I never make all the takbirat. I left one set of takbirat out, whatever. So then you compensate for it by what? By making the sajda sahu. Although this is a separate masla here, some ulama mention that when you are a very, very big jama'at, and it will result in mass confusion, it will result in mass confusion, then the ulama say you must leave out the sajda sahu, because now you'll be making sajda sahu, the rest of the qawm won't know what's happening, etc. Right? So these. But how will a muqtadi forget? The muqtadi will make with the imam. Huh? So if the muqtadi, you say, if the imam made the takbirat, but the muqtadi never made the takbirat, I think the salat will be valid. The salat will be valid, I think so. So while the imam was making takbir, he just stood like that. Huh? I think his salat will be valid. I think it will be valid. I must check it up. But I think it will be valid. But normally the imams, they say before that we're going to be making extra takbirat, etc. Right? لأنها واجبة. فإنه عليه السلام واظب عليها من غير ترك مرة وهي أمارة الوجوب. You got أمارة or إمارة? Yeah. So all these things here, kunut, tashahud, right? In the first, after the first 2 rakats, the takbirat of Eid, etc. These are all wajib. Because very Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he was punctual on them, min ghairi tarki amaratan, without leaving that even once out. وهي أمارة الوجوب, right? And this is a sign that it is wajib, right?
لأنها تضاف إلى جميع الصلاة دل على أنها من خصائصها وذلك بالوجوب.
Yeah. ولأنها تضاف, if you look at tashahud, It is joined to all the salat. فَدَلَّ أَنَا مِنْ خَصَائِصِ وَذَلِكَ بِالْوُجُوبِ. That's okay. Let's stop there. وَهِيَ أَمَارَةُ الْوُجُوبِ. We will continue from there tomorrow, inshallah. From this, وَلِأَنَّا تُضَعَفُ. Inshallah, I'm going to the doctor today, inshallah, for the first appointment after the treatment. Request for people's special du'as, khususi du'as, inshallah. Everything goes well, inshallah. We start with the next period. Subhanallah.